All right, so sometimes we get equations that aren't in a form where the information is useful for us. And we'll see this all the way through algebra. In its general form, we can write an equation of a line as an x and a y term equals some c. You will sometimes also see it written like this. But for us, in human form, right, not a mathematical form, not all the information pops out of this. And we have a form of writing the line where y equals mx plus b, where this tells us the slope or rate of change. And this tells us the value at x equals 0, or the starting point. And so this format, writing any of these forms this way, helps us. It helps us see information by reading those numbers that pop out. So occasionally we'll get problems where you have x minus y equals 8, and we need to change it into this form. Later on, we'll develop a thing called a function that purposely does this for us. It puts it in the form where the output y is on one side always. I'm going to switch color over here, and I'm going to bring this down. X minus y equals 8. So our job is to really focus on getting y on its own out front. So what's in the way right now is the x. So I will subtract x from each side. But notice how I subtracted the x, right? Minus x here is going to cancel this one out. I put it in front because our x here is in front. But I made sure to keep the sign with it. So minus x, well, I put the x out front. Now, y still has this negative sign in front, so I'm going to divide both sides by -1. So a negative divided by a negative is positive, and a positive divided by a negative is negative. And so this is our equation for the line x minus y equals 8. And we've transformed the form so that when I look at this, this has a slope of 1, right? There's that hidden 1 hanging out front there. And it starts at -8. So I could graph this. As I'd come down to -8, and I'd use a rise over run. And so my line would end up looking like that. Now, not quite like that. I think, 8 and 8, right? Let me get this here. Sorry, my line's a little discombobulated. But what I wanted to do was, there's my b equals -8. And then my slope, I rise 1, go over 1, rise 1, go over 1, and so on. And so by having this in this informational form, I know to start at -8 on the y-axis, and I know that I go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, which means that this point here is 8, 0.